Hey guys, welcome to my channel, and today we're going to take a look at another horrible case with you. Envy and insatiable greed, potent and dark emotions, often lead individuals down the path of crime when mixed with unbridled lust and an obsessive need to control others. These feelings can shape a horrifying, lethal intent. It's a chilling concept, and it becomes even more sinister when these emotions fester secretly within a family unit. This narrative unfolds in a Sydney suburb revolving around the Lin family, a seemingly harmonious and large household. Their story escalated into one of the most infamous and bloody crimes in Australian history. The complexity and duration of the investigation are noteworthy, as the perpetrator, group confident in escaping justice, his meticulously crafted and brutally executed plan was nearly flawless. However, a minor overlooked detail eventually led the police to the breakthrough they needed. Let's delve into the beginning of this saga, exploring how a cocktail of greed, envy for others' success, and corrupt passion can drive someone to madness, transforming them into a monstrous figure who didn't even spare children in their rampage. The Lin family story, a portrait of love, ambition, and tragic end. Min Lin and Yunlai Lin's love story began in the late 1980s, during their college years at an Australian university. Both natives of China, they had separately emigrated to pursue higher education, Lily through an exchange program, and Min, who was 2 years her senior, remained in the country for a professional internship after completing his bachelor's degree. Their paths crossed in a university corridor, leading to what they later recalled as love at first sight. Sharing common roots and dreams, both felt like outsiders in a foreign land, but were united by their aspirations to start a new life in Australia. After graduation, the couple married and settled in the picturesque and tranquil suburb of North Epping in Sydney. Their love blossomed into a large, tight-knit family, deeply connected and committed to each other. In August 1994, they welcomed their first child, a daughter named June Brenda Lin, who mostly went by her middle name, Brenda. Henry, their son, was born in 1997, followed by the youngest, Terry, in 2000. Entering the 2000s, Min and Yun decided to embark on a business venture, opening a small newsstand. Their dedication transformed this modest start into a thriving news agency. With its publishing arm on Rose Street, the Lin family's business flourished, and enabling them to enjoy a comfortable lifestyle with a spacious home, a luxury car, and prestigious private schooling for their children. Men focused on business affairs while Yun dedicated herself to homemaking and nurturing their children in their community. The Lin were well regarded for their hard work, kindness, and philanthropy. They were known as exemplary, caring parents and never engaged in conflicts. Brenda, their eldest, was a standout beauty and an excellent student with a compassionate heart for animals. The boys, Henry and Terry, were energetic and sports-loving, sharing a passion for soccer. The siblings shared a close bond, almost inseparable from each other. Relocating relatives from China to Australia as the Lin family settled in Australia and their financial prosperity grew, they began inviting relatives from China to visit live or even stay permanently. In the early 2000s, Men's parents were the first to move to North Epping, living nearby and helping with the children. Min's father also worked in their newsstand on weekends. A few years later, Yun's parents also moved to Sydney suburb with Min and Yun, buying them a small house. Yun's sister Irene came to live with the Lins, assisting with household chores and the children. By this time, the Lin family business was generating substantial income, reportedly nearing $1 million annually. Their venture wasn't just a shop or publishing house. It had become a local hub where people gathered to read and discuss news over coffee. Towards the end of 2007, Min Lin's younger sister Kathy Lin Nai and her husband Lang Bin Robert Z also moved to Australia, seeking better opportunities in the bustling city of Sydney. They had visited relatives in Australia before and briefly lived in Melbourne, but returned to China. This time, they were determined to settle in Australia permanently. Robert, a former successful ENT doctor in China, decided to switch careers and try entrepreneurship. The Eddies opened their own restaurant in Sydney, investing all their savings, but the business struggled and soon closed. Subsequent attempts to open a cafe or snack bar also failed. Robert, lacking business acumen and financial management skills, struggled in his new ventures. Eventually, Robert and Kathy moved to North Epping, closer to family. Kathy found work, but Beer remained in a phase of self-discovery, unsure of his future path. The Lin and Z families were bound not only by kinship, but also by strong friendship. They saw each other almost daily, stayed in constant touch, and often gathered for family meals, their last such. Gathering was on the evening of Friday, July 17, 2009, at the home of Kathy and Min's parents. Unbeknownst to them, this would be their final reunion. The Lynn family home a scene of a gruesome massacre on the morning of July 18th. The Lynn family shop remained unexpectedly closed, surprising their regular customers. The shop, which had operated 7 days a week for years, showed no signs of opening with no notice or warning on the doors. This unusual occurrence raised concerns among the customers and neighboring shop owners. One of them, after several unsuccessful attempts to reach Min, called his sister Kathy to inquire about the situation. Kathy was both surprised and alarmed, knowing her brother had never closed the shop for a day without prior arrangements, often having their father or father-in-law cover for him. She tried calling Min, and then his wife Yun, but to no avail. Her calls to their home phone also went unanswered. Worried, Kathy and her husband Robert decided to visit Min's house to ensure everything was all right, arriving around 9:30 a.m. They noticed the family car in the driveway and found the front door unlocked, but no sign of the homeowners inside. The house was eerily quiet, and calls for the family members went unanswered. The house appeared undisturbed with no signs of forced entry. Kathy, calling out for her brother again, ascended to the second floor upon opening the bedroom door of Min and Yun Lin. She screamed in shock and horror, staggering back at the gruesome scene before her. The room was drenched in blood, covering the floor, wall, ceiling, furniture, and curtains. The lifeless body of 43-year-old Yun Lin lay near the bed, mutilated beyond immediate recognition. In the adjacent room where 39-year-old Irene, Yun's sister, slept, the scene was equally ghastly. Irene lay dead in her bed, her face a bloody pulp. In the children's bedrooms, 12-year-old Henry and 9-year-old Terry had also been brutally beaten to death, their bodies lying in different corners of the room. Brenda, the 15-year-old daughter, had fortunately been away on a school trip the previous day and was not at home during the tragic night. The body of the household's head, Min Lin, was nowhere to be found, leading to a faint hope that he might be alive, possibly injured, taken hostage, or escaped. Kathy immediately called emergency services, but was so hysterical from the shock that she struggled to convey what had happened. She screamed and cried into the phone, begging for medics to arrive quickly and try to save anyone they could. However, the first responders could only confirm the deaths of all the victims at the scene of the massacre. The morning after a chilling discovery following Kathy's frantic call to emergency services, Robert left to fetch the Lin parents, who lived about 10 kilometers away from the crime scene. The police and paramedics arrived within minutes, and what they encountered was immediately dubbed as one of the most horrific crime scenes they had ever witnessed. Tragically, it was too late for any member of the Lin family. Each had been killed by multiple blows to the head, with a heavy blunt object resembling a hammer. However, the lethal weapon was nowhere to be found, leading investigators to conclude that the perpetrator had taken it with them. Min Lin's body was eventually discovered in his own bedroom, covered with a blood-soaked blanket like his family. He had been beaten to death in a similar manner. It appeared that he was the first victim, followed by his wife, her sister, and lastly the two boys. An initial inspection of the crime scene yielded no significant clues or leads. The absence of the lethal weapon, coupled with the fact that valuables and money were left untouched, indicated that the primary objective was the elimination of the Lin family, rather than robbery. Initially, multiple assaults were suspected, as it seemed unlikely that one person would single-handedly overpower so many. However, evidence suggested that the children were awake and had desperately tried to escape during the attack, as indicated by bloodstains and splatters throughout the house. Interestingly, all adult victims, besides head injuries, also showed signs of strangulation, possibly to minimize resistance during the assault. Identical bloody shoe prints were found in each room with a unique tread pattern, but the shoe brand couldn't be identified, only its size. No foreign fingerprints were discovered, suggesting that the killer or killers wore gloves. At first, there were no leads or theories about the identity of the perpetrator, as family, friends, and neighbors unanimously stated that the